Hey there YouTube, it's Josh Kenny here with another SwiftUI tutorial. So recently I had someone comment on one of my videos about doing a tutorial about long pressing with images as well as making sounds. I guess there's an app out there that does this and they wanted to know how to do this with a long press. So that's what I'll be covering today. This should be a pretty short one, so let's go ahead and dive in and show you exactly what we'll be building. So here I have a simulator already out. You see the bike horn here, and when you hold it, you'll hear a loop of the bike horn going until I release the button. So let's take a look at that and see what that looks like. Now when I release, it stops. Hold it again, and it goes again. So let's go ahead and begin this tutorial. So what I already have going on here is the content view, and all I have is a seed stack. I changed the background color to gray, ignore the safe area so it goes all the way up. I can actually change this to a better device for you. So you'll see the color goes all the way up. And then I have a button that the action is not doing anything right now. So we'll be adding something here to do the actual action, and then you'll see the label is where this image of a horn goes in. It's resizable, so I can make it smaller, and then I set the frame size to 280 by 400, and that gives me this frame here. But you can see right here, this ignore the safe area. That's how that grade's going all the way up. If you don't know, which you should see in other videos I do, if you don't do that, you can see that you'll have the white on the top and the bottom. So to get rid of that, you ignore the safe area. All right, so this horn is already added in here. So I went to my assets and I just drug a bike horn that's transparent in here. And then the last thing is I made a file called sounds, a directory called sounds. And I added a bike horn MP3 file. That's just that little horn that you heard in the beginning of this video. So that's all I have set up now. So now we're going to go ahead and create the way we're going to play and stop the sounds. All right, so now let's go ahead and start working on the audio or playing this bike horn. So go ahead and add a new file. This is just going to be a normal Swift file. Hit next, and I'm just going to call this audio manager because that's what it will be doing. First thing you want to do underneath this import foundation, you want to import AV foundation. And that's how we're going to be able to access everything. And then we're going to go ahead and create a variable, call this audio player, and make this of type AV audio player question mark. Now we're going to make a function. We're going to call this play sound because that's what it's going to do whenever we want to play the sound in the app. This is a function we're going to go ahead and call. So to do that, just name it play sound. All right, give it some brackets there. And now up here, we're going to pass in something called the sound, where that's going to be of type string. And then we're also going to pass in the type, and that's going to be of type string as well. Now right here, guys, you may get a little bit lost, but I will explain it in a minute. Just follow along. You want to go ahead and do if let your path equal bundle dot main dot path, and you'll see for resource of type, that's what we want to go with. And this is the same thing. So your string that we're going to be passing in, which is your sound, which is going to be, in this case, bike horn. So that'll be what we will pass in. And then of type what? MP3. So if you wanted to do MP4 or any other file type, you can. In this case, we're going to use MP3. But we're going to pass in this sound and this type here. So do sound. And then here do type. Perfect. Now go ahead and do brackets here, and we're going to do a do. And with this do, we're going to check this. So we're going to do audio player is equal to try, and you can try doing this without try, but you'll get the warning or the error saying, hey, in order to do this, you need to try it. So that's why I'm automatically doing the try. But do AV audio player, and then we're going to go ahead and do contents of. Okay, and now this URL, we're going to do URL, and then you're going to see this right here. I think it is, we want it to be the file, there it is, file URL with path, and then we're going to pass in that path. So that's how we're going to grab this. So if path is this, do this, and then that's where we're grabbing that path. Okay, now after that, you always have to add in a catch. So we'll go ahead and do that really quick. I like to put it here. It doesn't really matter where you want to put it, but we're going to do a catch. And then from here, we're just going to print. And the print that we're going to do is could not play sound. I guess we can do the sound file that we selected. Okay, so now let's go up here and let's finish this now that we don't have that error. And the next thing we want to do is we want to do the audio player again. And then we're going to do number of loops, and we're going to set this to be -1. Okay, now the reason for this is if we don't do a loop, whenever we do the long gesture in a little bit, it's only going to go one time. It's going to make that bell noise once, or that horn noise once, and it'll stop. If you do 5, it'll go through 5 times and then stop. So 5 loops. If you do a -1, that's infinite loops. So basically something else, which what's going to happen with us is we're going to do a stop sound. That's how we're going to stop it. But basically it's going to keep going until we tell it to stop. So that's where this comes in. And then the last thing you want to do is you want to do the audio player. And then it's got its own function in here called play. So do .play, and that will automatically start playing that audio. Okay? Now right here, this is the only thing I really wanted to show you. This bundle.main.path, you're just going in and grabbing this path that we're going to be passing in. So that's what I wanted to explain here. Don't get too tied up in it. It's not that big of a deal, but you're just going into your main path. And that's where it's checking, hey, if this is correct, then go ahead and do this. If it's not, then print out, hey, we couldn't do this. I'm also going to go ahead and do a little print statement here just so we know we're hitting this. And this is, you can take this out or skip over this part if you'd like, but I'm going to do sound file played. SUCCESSFULLY successfully. Okay? And that will be it for that one. Now we're going to go ahead and make another function called a stop sound, but we're going to cheat a little bit and copy this and just use this again. Now there is a better way of doing this, so you're not just copying and pasting the same code twice, but in this instance we're going to do it just to save a little bit of time. And this is stop sound here. We're going to do everything that we're supposed to do here. We're going to try, but right here, instead of the loops, we don't need that anymore because we're stopping. We don't care if it's looping. And instead of this play, we're going to do stop. Let that run there, and then we're going to do sound file stopped successfully. And then count. I messed up here. This should be could not play, and then we could put here could not stop. If you really wanted to, it'll never hit this, but could not stop the sound file selected if there was an error. So that's how we're going to handle that, and that's going to be it for that one. So now let's go back over to our content. All right, so back in this content view, we're going to go ahead and add a variable that's a boolean, and it's going to be called LongPressGesture, and we're going to set this to false. Inside of our button action, we're going to go ahead, and the action is going to be to toggle that. So LongPressGesture, and we're just going to toggle. So whatever that is, which is false, it's going to go to true. If it's true, it's going to go to false as soon as you click on the button, which is this actual picture or image. All right, so underneath here now, we're going to go ahead and add a simultaneous gesture. So let's go ahead and do that. And there it is. We're going to go and do that. And I don't know why this keeps happening, but whenever I autofill, you can see it there, but whenever you autofill, it goes ahead and erases that. So we're going to go ahead and just spell it out. And then we're going to go ahead and do long press. With a minimum duration, and that's going to be a 0.1. Now you can make this whatever you want. Let's say you want to unlock your screen with a long press and you want it to unlock after holding it for 2 seconds. You would change this to 2.0. However, when I want to push this button, I don't want to wait very long. I want it to trigger and start making that horn sound immediately. So 0.1 is pretty quick. We're not going to go ahead and mess around with the maximum distance for this one. We only need that minimum duration. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and do an on-ended. So go ahead right here and do dot on-ended. And what this is basically whenever you release your finger from holding that down, this is what happens. And we are going to do something that's really, really tough to understand. And this is not tracking the boolean, so we just do the underscore. And inside here, we're going to print so we know that it's hitting this. And when we print, we're just going to say long press. Long press ended. So we know that it ended. Okay, and then the next thing is we're going to toggle that long press gesture again. So if it is false, it's going to go true. As soon as you let go, if it's true, it's going to go to false. But what's really going to happen is it's going to start as false. You're going to hold it, and it's going to go true, and then the sound's going to happen. And as soon as you let go of that, it's going to go back to false, which is going to start the stop sound and stop it. And now you might be wondering, well, where do you put the functions at to start and stop the sounds? Well, that's what's next here. So right after this here, you actually have another thing that you can add that's called on change. Okay, and then inside this on change, we can actually do something. So if you do of, and then you do of type, long press gesture, okay, and then you do a comma, and then we do the perform. We can do of type, open and close, and then inside of here, we can actually do the value in, and then do the actual code. So if long press gesture is true, we're going to play the sound. And what is that sound called? Up here, bike horn. Make sure you capitalize the H or it won't work. And then the type's going to be MP3. So bike horn, and then the type is going to be MP3. Okay, so then underneath here, else, we're going to do what? We're going to stop sound. Same exact thing. We're going to stop bike horn. And we're going to be, it's going to be MP3. Okay, and now that should clear all of that up. Let's go ahead and try building that. What is going on here? So of long press gesture, that is right. And that is right there. And that should be working. So we'll come back to that. All right, I had to look back real quick on my code because I was getting an error, and I just wanted to show you where it happened at. So right here on ended, I have this parenthesis that I don't need. And then down here, this one as well, we can go ahead and delete that and bring those up. And then now on change should fix itself. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and make that a little nicer. But now we can see. So hey, if long press is true, go ahead and play it. If it's not true, so it's false, stop the sound. Now let's go ahead and build it and see if it works. Let's try. So I'm going to hold it down. And now I'm going to let go. Perfect. Let's try it one more time. Awesome. So yes, it is working, guys. I hope that was beneficial. If you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you want to see my upcoming content, go ahead and hit that bell. And as always, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you have not yet, so I can help get my content out to others. And kind of like this video here, if you guys have something you guys are having problems with or want to see something, give me a shout out. Comment on one of my other videos like this guy did, and I will see if I can come up with a video to explain how to do it to help you guys out. As always, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.